Chris.
In the fading consciousness, Chris heard a familiar voice. It was Santa's voice. Is it an auditory hallucination? Suddenly, he noticed Aqua rolling next to Barack's head. Chris unconsciously reached out his hand. He grabbed Aqua with both hands and stood up. Black smoke rose from Aqua. Then a rumble shook the ground, and the earth trembled violently. The soldiers paused and turned their attention to Chris. The black smoke rising from Aqua gradually formed a large shadow overhead. And then, it became a large black dragon that covered the area above. The dragon, with 5 horns on its head, spread its wings throughout the room. The large black dragon, Aralgan, glared around in anger at being disturbed from its sleep. The soldiers' terrified screams echoed throughout the area. The tremors of the ground intensified. Watching the scene, Chris remembered that thanks to Pula, he had acquired a body of steel. So, even though he was struck on the head, he is not injured. As he checked the back of his head, Chris heard a voice calling his name nearby. When he turned around, Sana, Clare, and Bibi rushed over to him. Elandra, Ramal, and even Almayan are with Martis. Clare hugged him and said, "Are you okay?" In the meantime, Bibi interrupted and licked Chris's face. Behind them, Sana is looking worried.
I'm fine,
Chris replied, holding Aqua and Bibi in each arm. On the ground, several soldiers are lying down. Among them was the figure of Eugilus. The ground continued to shake, and debris was falling from the ceiling. Screaming, soldiers were fleeing the room one after another.
How did you find this place?
Before that, let's just get out of here.
Martis shouted. Indeed, Martis was right. At this rate, it feels like they might get buried alive at any moment.
Almine, come over here.
Guion was waving his arms widely towards the exit. Claire turned her gaze towards Chris. Then, after exchanging glances with Chris for a moment, she looked back and gave instructions. Ramal, take Martis and Almayan with you. Elandra, you take Sana and Bibi. Ramal and Elandra nodded in response. Everyone present was distracted by that exchange. The aqua that Chris was holding in his arms was suddenly taken away. Glenn, holding the aqua, turned with a grin and looked back at Chris.
Chris, so you truly were the chosen and rightful human. Let me thank you for breaking the seal.
With that, Glenn attempted to leave the scene, accompanied by Dalmia. No, Claire shouted almost simultaneously as Aralgan let out a cry. It was a fleeting moment. Alargan forcefully spat out a blue liquid. And in the next moment, Glenn's figure melted away and disappeared. Dalmia, who witnessed it right in front of him, fell back on his rear. However, while Dalmia had lost the strength in his legs, he still managed to pick up Aqua and crawl away on all fours, scrambling to escape. Aralgan let out another cry. By the time Dalmia turned around, he was enveloped in the blue liquid released by Aralgan. With a strained expression on his face, Dalmia disappeared in an instant. Aqua rolled onto the ground. Claire, who was watching the scene, shook her head in disbelief. Even if the seal is broken, you can't take the Dragonstone unless you qualify to possess it. Chris, only you, who broke the seal, can gain that qualification. Claire said as she took Chris's hand. Hurry up, or this whole place is gonna come down. Once they reached the spot where Aqua was, Claire instructed Chris to pick it up. However, Chris hesitated. It was because he witnessed the figures of Glenn and Dalmia being melted away in an instant. Listen. Claire placed her hands on Chris's shoulders and stared intently into his brown eyes. To gain the qualification, you need courage and determination, and also the confidence that you are worthy of receiving it. You must not have doubts or impure intentions, Claire said, as if trying to persuade. The ground shook more violently, and the ceiling and walls were crashing down with a loud noise. It's okay, I'm here with you, Clare said, nodding without averting her gaze. Her eyes conveyed that there was no way to escape this situation other than to brace himself. Chris couldn't stop his body from shaking. He also understood that there was no other way but to make a decision to prevent any more victims.
I have a mission to protect the Earth from the forces of darkness and to save the lives of all humanity.
Chris nodded back. Then, with determination, he picked up Aqua, which was on the ground. Except for Elandra, only Chris and Clare remained in the room before they knew it. As Clare faced Elandra, she spread her wings and soared into the air. Chris! Clare shouted as she floated up to face Elandra. Recite the cantarmel I'm about to say.
Got it.
Chris replied, holding the aqua he had in both hands up in front of him. Animus Parade. Following Clare, Chris shouted.
Animus Parade.
Suddenly, a loud sound like whoosh filled the air as the wind howled. And before he could resist, Chris was sucked into the aqua as if being drawn into a vacuum cleaner.